1% better every day!
You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
People, what's going on? It's your boy Shondo Blades.
Melvin Johnson.
Get the hell out of here.
He's a hater on the government. I give him a full government. You can always Google me and find me. But it is Melvin Johnson, Process the Mail. Welcome back to the 1% Better Everyday podcast.
You see how he's trying to take my line?
I'm not trying to take. We co-host.
He just stole my whole. I tell you, he's trying to do some David Ruffin shit, man.
I can't steal it.
Listen, people. I feel like we need multiple hand claps right now.
We do.
This is a very special podcast, bro.
Very, very, very.
We're on here with our first female guest.
Yes.
And she's not just a guest. You dig what I'm saying? She's a lioness, a killer in heels.
Absolutely.
Simone Emerson, the founder of the Emerson Consulting Group. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
Got it right.
Listen, she gave us that before, and I was like, Melly Mel, you want to? That was the one time I damn near was going to sub him in. I'm like, shit, but we got it. Listen, this, ladies, if you're watching, this is Nyla's mama. You know what I'm saying? This is Pride Rock. This is all that shit rolled into one. Like you really watching it. We some lions up here, and the only people that can be around lions is really other lions, else you get your ass ate. And she's sitting and holding her own. I gotta hold my drink like her.
No, let's toast it up.
Air toast. Yes. Our first female guest. We love to talk about business. We love to talk about business. And we love to talk about it in association with 1% Better Every Day. But Simone, first of all, thank you for coming.
Thank you
Thank
very
you guys
much.
for
You
having
deserve
me.
that.
I
Absolutely.
feel so honored to be the first female.
The first.
No,
First one.
I appreciate you because
Absolutely.
we don't get into a lot of business and about your story, but we are very honored for you to be the first female guest here. Obviously, we know some of our female viewers do watch to get some comments, but I think you were going to add a lot to that perspective for our clientele.
Sure.
As me and Shondo, we always talking a lot.
Right.
We talk to a lot of fellas, but man, we're so glad for you to be with us tonight.
Ladies, I got y'all tonight.
Absolutely.
This one's going to be an interesting one because I'm going to tell you all about what it means to show up in the marketplace,
Let's go.
Command your position,
let's go.
stand in your power, right, and go out and get this bag, ladies, because it's waiting for it.
Oh,
I almost walked off this goddamn set the way she came in there and said that.
No, she
did
coming
the
in.
Barack thing. She said, "Stand on your," because you know this is all body language training.
Yeah.
She knew how. If you do this, that's almost chastising the audience. She hit that finger like,
Yep.
the nigga's good. She good. She good. I'm just gonna keep it at that.
And she knows about brand.
I'm watching everything right across to the list. She's good. She's been here before.
He's
Media
reading
training.
me, guys.
I'm sorry, I can't help it because I'm just like, she's good. Just know that she's good.
Yes.
Somebody like he said, thank you for being like straight up though. Thank you for being here. Number one, because when we met you before, like your energy was just was solid.
Yeah.
So it was like, man, let's
Yeah,
we asked right there, like we gotta get you.
Absolutely.
Yes. Number one, but number two, like I feel like you would give a dope perspective on how women and men, like not necessarily, we're not competing with one another, but showing how men you work with and females you work, like, you know what I mean? Showing how to mesh the two. Because I feel like right now you seeing one say, well, I can do it just like it's almost a battle versus like, fuck that. Like, let me use what you're awesome at. We're using you today. Like, hopefully you're using us. Like, that's not a bad thing.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
No,
So
I agree 100% of the way. As much as I am in alignment with gender roles, I also believe that, women, we add a certain different level of value to the equation. And any really smart man, he know he better have him some solid women on his team. If he really going out.
Preach. One, because I'm trying to get some brownie points.
Right.
I got a solid foundation at home with my wife.
He's not supposed to use this platform to try to do no shit like that.
Come on now.
Go ahead,
I
man.
gotta give her
Go
flowers
ahead, man.
as a strong woman behind me.
Look
But
at him.
let me set the table back because back at episode 14, I believe it was.
Yep.
We had a guest on the show with Chris Wells,
yeah,
Wells
the
and
backstory
Sons
was on.
Roofing. So crazy part is we sitting there. Obviously, you guys were able to hear Chris's story and hear about his journey to where he is today. But in that conversation, he actually mentioned Simone's name. So, we were vibing out after the show, and he had some business to take care of. Smoked a cigar. She actually had to come over and handle some business because it's all about the business. Chris is all about his business. We know what he did with his company. But we were able to be introduced that same night and have a conversation. We was like, yo, we need to have you on.
Yeah.
And if anybody ever been into this position where you have a guest and you want to have them on, you really can't have a conversation like you want to because
you got to save some.
We saved it for y'all.
We gotta
So
save
we didn't even talk out there.
And you know I wanted to run my
All right, don't
mouth.
answer that. Okay, don't talk about
You know I
that.
wanted to run my mouth. I was like,
Yes. Come on. I don't want to say.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, facts.
But,
Facts.
we definitely tried to not talk so much business because we knew we wanted to have you here today and give that perspective. But, again, when I go back to the episode where Chris, when we was having that great conversation, and the one thing that he said was, I got some dope females behind me that are on my team.
Yeah.
We was like,
And
talking about
you were one of the first thing that
absolutely.
first name that he
And we
mentioned.
talked about what
That's no
women
slight
can
to
do
the
for
other ladies,
business.
but
No
the
slight at
first
all.
name
But
that he mentioned.
we talked about how important it is to have females and what they can do for your business compared to a male. It's very
just because we gonna give her the floor.
Yes.
But it's like I feel like it's important to set the table because you need to understand why it's so important and instrumental to even have her here. You know what I'm saying? And like when you think about fellas, like at some level there's competition with the guys. You know what I mean? There's gonna be competition. Like, man, I can do that just as good as that man. And that's happened. It's happened with me before. I don't know. You're gonna see like not wishing it on you, but you'll see as you progress with your business, like. Women work so beautifully, like with us, especially guys that know where they're going, that have strong leadership, but can give the message in a way that it's not demeaning or whatever like that to anybody, whether it's female or male. But like, I want to hear your perspective on what you feel is the benefit of having a dope female, not just a female. Ladies, don't just be like, "Oh, he need me." He need me. Like, no.
We need the dope.
Certain type of females, like just say like what it is. You know what I mean? When having a female on the squad that's dope.
I think that we're just wired differently, right? The way our brains work, it's a little bit more systematic as far as process. And for me, it's about, like you said, it's not just any woman or just any man.
That's a major fact,
right? The reality of the matter is that it has to be the man that's not really afraid to go after it, right? And when you combine that leadership capability, right, that drive, that motivation with somebody that has the strategy on the back end, like that's really like the secret sauce. That's the secret recipe. And so, for me and my agency, that's what I afford my clients is the strategy. I work with visionaries. I work with people that already know what it is that they desire to achieve out of life, and they've already made some of the investments, right? They've already put in some of the work, right? They know what success looks like, but to get to the next level, it's like, okay, I need that little push, right? I need that little extra edge factor that's gonna separate me from everybody else. And so, my relationship with Chris and WSR Roofing, right, is so magical because I was literally a part of the whole transformation. From it being the smaller, family owned residential business to Chris coming to me and saying, "Hey, Simone, look, I'm ready to take my business to another level. I need to change the way I'm looked at in the market. I need the branding to be tight. We need to put together the strategic steps to really, really for me to command the place as the expert." And with my formal education and my business expertise, because I've been an entrepreneur now for 13 years, right? I've been doing this since I was 22 years old, so I don't know no other way of life, right? All I know is, you want it, you go get it, right? That's my way of operating. And so I've been fortunate enough, and I thank God because I truly believe that it's my gift, right? I'm very process driven, right? I can always see like the destination. So wherever we trying to go, like it's just a matter of being in alignment and in agreement to get there. Because if I can see the destination, we running at it 100 miles an hour.
I wanted her to get all that.
I know. I didn't want to interrupt because I
wanted her to get all that shit out.
She dropped jewels and hit some layups.
I'm gonna pick one up that she dropped early in the race. And we talk about it all the time. It goes back to what we talked about with the episode where we were saying how everybody was. You know what I mean? Their commonalities and everything that.
Yeah. How they all the same? Yep.
Systems. The system. What is the system? Like, systems oriented. The difference between your auntie's burger joint on the corner and McDonald's, and the reason why your auntie can't replicate that business 1,000,000 times over again is because, number one, she the only one know the recipe. And there's no system in place for anybody else to do it. I don't care if I'm at my crib here in New York or my crib in Hollywood. The hamburger at McDonald's, every one of them tastes the same. I don't know whether I'm in the middle of fucking Manhattan or the middle of Hollywood. The system, that shit is magical. And you heard, that was one of the first things she said. So having a solid female on your squad, naturally, women are way more fucking systems oriented than us. When I was telling Melly Mel off camera, these women that do stuff for me, we were doing another nonprofit, and I don't remember no numbers. I don't remember these women on my Social Security. Listen, what's today? What time is it? I don't know. They knew P.O. boxes and shit, and they just.
Yep.
Y'all are amazing. Like, that shit is. You're amazing. But, like she said, the right woman and the right man, you have to, like, fellas, you gotta have a fucking vision. You have to have something to go for. Yes. You're fighting for leadership, but what are you leading? You got a basketball uniform, but the game is football. You got a basketball out here trying to hoop. These niggas playing football. So know your game that you playing. Know what you're trying to do, and then you be a solid leader. But I'm just saying, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You just brought that shit all together.
We just
you know what I mean?
started.
Yeah, you brought that shit all together, because that's what we be talking about, like systems. Like, systems are where big businesses thrive.
Absolutely.
There's a system for it.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about like so? How did you start? Because I mean, you gave us the little thing about you started when you were 25 as far as being an entrepreneur.
22.
She said 22, bro. This drink you made was good.
Some respect on her name.
The drink you made was good. I had the Tootsie Roll in my ear from the drink. I thought I heard 25. 22. You know what I mean? Saved by the Bell College years. You know what I mean? So what? So how did you get started? What made you want to be an entrepreneur?
So, I get this question often. Like, people ask me, like, man, what motivates you? What made you want to go down this lane? And I think it's a combination of two things, right? One of them, entrepreneurship is in my family. So I watch my father, start businesses, build businesses. My family has one of the largest tax franchises in the country. And so, I've always been exposed to it. At an early age. I remember, sitting in hedge fund meetings while people negotiate in multi-million-dollar real estate deals, right? So, I'm a product of my environment first. But then after that, I went out and I carved out my own lane and my own space, with the education that I always had a passion for. And so, for me, I've always been like a seeker of knowledge. Like, I've always desired to want to know more, learn more, get better. And so in undergrad, I'm a graduate of Texas Southern University. I have a bachelor's degree in marketing. Yeah. Graduated at the top of my class.
There we go.
Talk that talk.
There we go.
Was the marketing student of the year.
Come on now.
I graduated, and so I was in my junior year, and I was like, okay, I know enough about this business thing. I'm fixing to go out here and I'm fixing to set up my own operation. And so I went into the healthcare space. I had a DME company, durable medical equipment, where we sell, rent, and service healthcare equipment. And so it was my first introduction into business. And although that business was not a success, it was not a success, but I learned some very valuable lessons that I would never trade as far as my entrepreneurial journey. I was in that business for about 2.5, 3 years. Realized healthcare really wasn't the space for me, right? I went into it
because you had to do it to realize it, though.
I had to do it to realize it, right? I knew that being here in Houston, Texas, right? We had the biggest medical center in the country, so I was like kind of pulling that direction, but ultimately, you know, it led me down the road of really discovering what it is that I love the most. And so I started a daycare center shortly after the healthcare company. At that particular time, we had 110 kids enrolled.
Wow. So you had a big...
I was 26 years old, y'all. I had a staff of 11 people, 110 children in and out this facility. And although I love kids, and the cash flow was great in child care because people paying every Friday, every Monday they come and drop in them tuition payments. So
make sure they
I
still
loved
enrolled.
it for the cash flow that the business afforded me, but it was also a very heavy liability based business, right? You got a lot of liability in that type of business. And so, but ultimately I ended up selling it, right? I got an offer. I got approached by one of my competitors actually, and they was like, hey, you disrupted my money. So what we gotta do to get you up out of here, right?
You acquired also.
We want to move you around, and so I got an offer that I couldn't refuse, and I took it. And then after that, I kind of started investing into real estate.
Tom, I'm sorry.
I got you, but I'm trying to figure out what it is.
No. I had to end it because that right there. See, that goes back to.
I was trying to let it go.
That goes back to what we talk about way before. And the reason that I'm stopping you at certain places is because every time we hear something that's similar to what we've already talked about, which is like all the common moments, we like to pick them out.
Because they all...
When you just said that, we talked about it. Man, this may have been episode 2. We were talking about knowing the game that you're playing. And so we were talking about things being chess. And in chess, you got different pieces that do different things. We know we're going to have to sacrifice some pawns, right? So I'm listening to you talk about the first business. And the first business almost acts like the pawn because once it's sacrificed, now you can do something else with whatever they purchased it for. 100%. So it's just, man, it's different language, different things, but the shit's the same.
It's all the same.
That's the same one that I picked up on.
You did too?
Initially. Yeah. Because I talk a lot about we say it all the time, just get in the game. Do it. Yeah. For me, it's not always going to be perfect. Your pilot episode of your show isn't going to be the best episode of the entire 6-season show that you had. And it's not supposed to be, but you're going to get better. And nothing is a failure. It's a lesson. You can never look at it as a failure. Absolutely. It's only a failure if you never get back up. Period. But you were able to take all those nuggets that you learned in business 1, take it to business 2. And now you probably made business 2 work a lot better than business 1. And who's to say if you didn't have business 1, it might not have sold for X times what it sold for because you had all the systems and processes in place.
She learned
now you hear what, right? And we not even know where she is now. We stopped her at real estate.
I'm just saying she learned a lot at one time. You gotta people don't. First of all, you started a business, but then the exit strategy portion to sell the business, that's what some people are gonna build a business to sell it. The fact that right out the gate, you've already had the experience selling a business, whether it was for $4,000, $4, you still had to work out whatever the fuck it was going. Oh no! Listen, we know how you rock.
Yeah.
We know it's for way more than that. I'm just trying to bring it down to my boys that's getting them goddamn McChickens tonight. I'm with y'all boys. I used to be getting them McChickens at let me get 3 McChickens. And let me get, and let me get a water. See what they say? And let me get the water. Get that water, nigga. You know I'm asking for water. But hey, that's just, she learned a lot of shit with that first business. So now we on to the second stuff and more stuff. So I gotta hear more.
So, I dipped my toe heavy into real estate investing. I did some fix and flips. I did some holding, right? I kind of really immersed myself in that space. And I love real estate, right? Even to this day, consistently building out the real estate portfolio, that's a part of the wealth building model, right? Yes. So, I'm all about diversifying at this point.
Multiple streams of income.
Multiple streams of
Octopus.
income is what it is all the way. And it brought me full circle to my present moment, right? So I went back to school, got an MBA in international business and supply chain management, right? Go right back to those systems and the processes, right? So we needed to really be able to have a clear understanding of what it meant to operate business from a global perspective.
Global.
Right?
Y'all hear these words?
I recognized very early on, like, the C was so much bigger than just Houston, Texas.
Man.
Or just Texas. Or just the
United States.
Right? It's
We're
so
not thinking local.
much bigger than
It's
that.
the same thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to keep interrupting. I'm sorry.
No, I did.
Put my hands to my side. I can't keep interrupting.
Fuck these cameras. This shit be exciting. Like, talking about this shit is exciting to me.
It's global.
God damn it. I don't want to break your glass. Is she global? This girl's in here talking big girl ball right away. We didn't know. It's way bigger than just Houston. It's way bigger than the United States. It's way bigger than this. It's when you talk about global, you talking about everybody. 7.25 billion, I think that's on Earth right now.
Yes.
You talking about big girl ball. So
About everybody, right?
Yes.
And so I knew that I needed to really understand logistics. I needed to understand what it takes to move products or goods and services all around the world, right? It was for something way bigger, something way further down the line. So I say that to say, don't ever skip over humble beginnings, right? When I started this entrepreneurial journey, I had no idea it would look like what it looks like today. But the fact that I stayed at it, I didn't give up. I went out and everything that I desired to learn how to do, everything, y'all, I figured it out, right? I figured it out. I stayed committed to the process. And so today, all of those experiences combined, right? All of the education combined, all of the dedication to really, really mastering every skill that I desire to have. Now I have a community of women and men that's 30,000+ people from all over the world, right? I get to pour into them and teach them from my own personal experience. In 2017, I launched my online-based business, right? And in the online space, the magic of it is that I can connect with anybody,
yes,
anywhere, right?
And nothing. I don't want to interrupt.
Man, that digital platform. So I launched a personal development brand by the name of Overcoming Her, right? Okay. And the whole concept for Overcoming Her was to really show women what their true capabilities were, right? To show them that the things that you've had to go through in life, right? They weren't really designed to hold you up.
Right.
They really just there to qualify you. They really just there to make you the expert. They're really just there to move you to the next place, right? We here talking about business, but we ain't even gotten to the personal stuff, right? I didn't even hit on the fact that, I had my oldest son at 16 years old, and I'm a survivor of domestic abuse, and the failed business that I talked about early on resulted in a federal indictment while I was fighting for my freedom because I went and got myself in business with people that I didn't know, right? That had different intentions than what I was there for, right? They was there for the quick money grab. I was there to try to build something sustainable, right? And I became the pawn in the process, right? But I wouldn't trade it for nothing because it turned into a book.
Straight like that.
That's published, sold all over the world.
Straight like
right?
that.
It turned into a community of over 40,000 people. It turned into me getting to live every day the life that I once dreamed of, right?
Yeah.
And all of those experiences and all of the stuff that I've learned along the way, right? The entrepreneurs and the business owners that I get to work with today, I can understand where they're at when they're in their business and they're trying to get to the next level, right? I'm relatable, right? Because I already been there. I already been there. I already know, like when you trying to figure out how you sell a business for $1 million or how you even consistently gross $1 million a year, right? What it takes to make that happen. And so, I'm so fortunate. I'm fortunate for all of the experiences, all of the lessons, all that I've been able to do. And, I honestly feel like I'm just getting started. I'm 13 years in this business thing, but I'm just heating up. Like I was telling my husband this the other day. Like when I was 22 doing this, I was blindly trying to figure it out. Today, I'm sharp. I'm sharp, man. I know stuff about business today and what it takes to make sure that you are cash flow positive, that your business generating profits, that it's not just about sales, but it's actually about net income. Like I know things today that 13 years ago I had no idea how to figure that kind of stuff out.
You have to stop talking for a second. And I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just saying, like, it's so much stuff to unpack.
You gotta pick it up.
You can't pick it up.
You gotta pick it up.
You need one. You don't need a grocery bag. You need an IKEA bag, bro.
Listen,
you need that big ass IKEA blue bag.
Listen, I'm gonna start with one of them. It's a jewel right there. Can I pick it up?
Pick that one up, because if you don't pick it up, I got the other one.
I'm gonna pick this motherfucker up.
Okay, which one you got?
And I'm gonna pick this one up because it's common to me, and then hopefully the one you picked up is common to you. One of the things you talked about that I love is that when I started learning how to fight, I learned off YouTube. So when you talk about whatever it was you didn't know, you just fucking figured it out. Because that was where 1% Better even came from. That was one of the first things I got trained. Like, you know what I mean? So we did the trademark like way before, because it was like when I was learning how to fight, I couldn't go off of what I was looking at other people that were already great fighters.
Yep.
And when I was looking, I was like, shit, I don't know none of that shit. Because I didn't come from karate, boxing, wrestling, none of that. So I was like, well, fuck it. So everything that I was getting better at, I was just like, horse blinders, I'm just going to get better at my shit as I get better.
Yeah.
So that's where the phrase came from. But then another thing that I thought about you saying, like whether it was the federal indictment, whether it was getting into bed on the business level with people that were more on the slithery side, you know what I'm saying? I think about when you fight.
Yep.
And the only thing that really teaches you fighting, I can tell you 1,000 times, my boy, keep your hands up. My boy, keep your hands up. Only thing that's gonna really help you keep your hands up is when you get your motherfucking lip split from an uppercut. And you at your after party. You know what I'm saying? Trying to sign an autograph or something, and your lip look like 2 arms going this way. That's the only thing that helps you learn that shit. So the only way for you to really get this shit is to really be in there and take the punches. So it's just, when I hear you say that, it's like, I like to bring all this shit together because our stories are the same without us even knowing each other. The same. When you experience something that has a bit of pain, that's the way it becomes concrete in the mind. It's gotta burn a little bit, or else because if just say for instance, if the people you were doing business with, they were slithery, but they ain't get caught though. So now you go from their business that may have been generating $500,000 a year or more. And now you at your business that's producing $30 million a year. But you like, fuck it. You worked in the last business, you'll work in this one. Now, nigga, you talking about $30 million on the line versus $500,000. I would much rather learn that shit at $500,000 than at the $30 million mark.
Big number.
So it's like, you don't push back from adversity. Like, go into it. I was getting motherfuckers would hit everything on me, but the bottom of my feet, I would tell you niggas that all the time. But because of that, I learned and got up to speed where I'm actually competing on TV with niggas that have been fighting for 10, 15 years. And I've been doing it for 15 months. Like, so don't go away from the adversity. That's one thing I heard you say, like whether it was people you did business with or whatever, you just go toward the adversity, man. Because in the end, like, that shit makes you a dog. Like, it makes you a killer.
That was a good jewel you picked up.
I'm just,
I heard
when I heard her say that, and she was like, people I done business, because people that's listening might be like, oh, that's fucked up. I tried to do business with a nigga and he fucked me up. That's a great thing. Because now you know what to look for. You know what the slithery motherfucker look like. When everything is too easy, and you're like, what you doing behind the scenes, nigga? What's going on? It shouldn't be like that. So I'm sure you got a chance to look at what a serpent really look like up close.
Up close and personal.
You know what I'm saying? Federal indictment. How long? I'm sorry. How long were you dealing with that? The federal indictment shit.
3 years, man.
That bad shit is
that's stressful.
2010.
That ain't no county shit.
To like 2013, y'all.
This is fairly fucking recent. That ain't goddamn long ago.
That was one of the hardest seasons of my life. Was, fighting for my innocence, going in there dealing with U.S. attorney offices, having them try to paint you out to be this person that you not. Like it was so life changing, and I remember being in the midst of it. You know, I didn't think I was gonna make it through that, right?
You been in that shit 3 years?
I'm fighting. I'm talking about paying lawyers.
Yes, money flying out. Yes.
Just trying to prove what it naturally is. You're not trying to get some shit fabricated. You trying to prove what it really is.
Yes.
Get the fuck. Man, I'm talking about I did not think I was gonna make it from that. But what it taught me, it taught me resilience, right? How to stay in something no matter what, right? And fight. Yep. It also taught me the importance of delayed gratification, right? Because as entrepreneurs, like most of us, and this is where I see a lot of business owners get it wrong in the beginning. That was my first business. I was 22 years old. Yeah. I was green as hell, right? Started making money. You know, $100,000 show up in your bank account, $200,000 show up in your bank account. You think you living the life, right? It's time to go turn up. It's time to hit the Galleria. It's time to pop bottles. Like, we fixing to live that life. Yeah. And then when the case happened, I had to step back and I had to reassess everything in my life. And so in the business that I'm in today, I'm in it today, and I can stay committed today because I'm not in it because of the instant gratification. Yeah. Those things don't move me anymore. I've been there. I've done that. Look, that's not it for me. Yeah. It's about building. It's about impact. Like today, it's about leaving an impact on people, leaving an impact on the world. And if I continue to focus there, the dollars show up.
They're always going to show up.
They come right behind it.
Man, some of the stuff that you dropping, because I know
you said you said you saw one right there.
They all over the place. But the one that I saw, you know, the figure it out one that you picked up.
Did I pick it up?
Dope.
Okay,
another one that I saw.
Okay,
over there.
You saw another one.
Was the process and trusting the process, falling in love with the process.
When I heard that, I said, let me lead that one.
Thank you.
Because I know my nigga want that. You know what I'm saying? So I just left it there.
But even that, the way that I hear it is the same way also what you picked up on and what you said, like you have to go through a process. All that is a process. Like you going through the bad is just as valuable as you going through the good. You can't always...
It's really more... the bad is really more important than the good. I ain't trying to cut you off. I'm just saying, because when I got my ass beat was more helpful than when I would do good. I'm just saying.
No matter what you talking about, that's going to be the fact. Like, if you live in a place where it's raining a lot, those sunny days mean much more than when you're living in Cancun and it's always sunny. Like, that is like, oh my God, I really need to go outside and do something. Like,
difference between New York and Cali. Like, when the sunny niggas is excited in that.
Yes. And another one that you picked up along with the process and getting to the process, fall in love with the process, is she didn't quit. She didn't quit in so many different scenarios. Obviously, federal indictment. That's easy to lay down.
That's enough for a motherfucker to pack it up.
I don't care about business no more. Yep. No, I'm gonna keep going. Oh, I don't know this. Oh, nope, I'm gonna go and learn it. Oh, I already got my degree. Nope, I'm gonna go back to school. Oh, I'm not supposed to be this because I had a baby at this age. I'm statistically supposed to do. Nope. I'm a like
she hard, bro.
I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna keep grinding and I'm gonna keep doing. I'm a doer. Like I'm gonna keep doing.
That motherfucker's a kill. Listen.
Lioness.
That motherfucker's a kill. Like that mother, she's a killer. Like that's what we talk about. Like we talk about lion prize because that's a real thing. Like I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Like people are animals just with the ability to reason. That's all. That's what we are. With still the same desires. I want everything. I'm a lion walking through the world that want that next territory. What I got to do to beat you out of this territory? Or we could team up and have it. But I want more and more territory. When she's talking, it's a lioness type mentality. It's knock down, get up, knock down. Don't complain to your friends on what the world's not giving you. Because the word fair is for suckers. I've always felt that way. This shit's for suckers. If you like this shit ain't fair, you're going to always... 99% of the time, you're just gonna be a consumer and dictated to by the world. Y'all are listening to a killer. She could carry this show by herself with us video chatting questions in here. We're just stopping her because I want you to pick up on the things that we're hearing
Yeah.
and be able to compare them to what we always talk about. Consistency number one.
Yes.
You cannot quit, dog. You can't quit. That is out of the
going.
question. You
Gotta
must
keep going.
burn the fucking ships.
You have to keep going.
You gotta burn the ships, man. And I don't even know. Just keep going.
Keep
going.
Let me ask you this.
Damn.
Let me ask you this. So we
Take a drink.
There's so much to your story as to where you are today that I feel like the whole show could really be about that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it could.
But I want to ask you more about, and you talked about personal brand and branding and all of those experiences have made you who you are today to be able to write a book and have the agency and the consultant aspect of your business that you have now. So talk to us more about what it is that you do now. And for individuals, whether it is myself or Chris with WSR, like if someone was to look at this right now, what could you or what do you do for their business?
So we'll start high level and we'll work our way down, right? One thing that I recognized when I stepped back into this like real deep personal branding space and personal development space and helping people really, be the best version of themselves, the first thing that I understood is that you got to meet somebody where they're at, right? So one of the reasons why I love this 1% better every day philosophy, this mantra, right, that we live by is because most people think that the transformation is in the big jumps, but it's not, right? It's in the small, consistent, incremental steps that you take every day to be better and better and better, okay? And so I say that to say, right, the entrepreneurs that I work with, because there's two sides to my business, right? I have one parent company, which is the legal entity, and then there's this personal and professional development on one side, and then it's the systematic and the operational part that I do for entrepreneurs, right? So for the business owners, essentially what I'm helping them do, and this is for people that are pretty much already established in their business, right? It's levels to this thing. Depending upon where you at in your journey is going to determine with how we work together. Because for somebody that doesn't have the capacity to truly understand what it means to have a multi-million-dollar business, there's certain conversations I can't have with you yet.
Right.
We're going to get there, but I can't have them with you yet. Right? I got to make sure that you believe big enough. Right? And you sold out to the vision first before we can start talking about building out a global, nationally recognized brand or business, right? But if you already there, right? If you already kind of like in that space and you have the foundation laid, essentially what my organization can do for you is we gonna come in and we gonna make sure that everything about your business from a very holistic perspective is in position to be able to handle the influx that comes with the proper marketing, the proper messaging, right? And the proper sales strategies. So many times, like, everybody wants to get to the bag, right? We want to get to the money. We want to hurry up and reach all the people. We want to get all the followers. And then the business show up and you fumble the ball because operationally your business is not set up for that. So for making sure you have the right team, right? We start at the basics. I'm going to make sure you have the right set of people on your staff working for you. I'm going to make sure that you have some type of operational procedures, a SOP, a manual, something where you can properly and effectively train the staff so that way they're equipped to do their job with excellence. That's second. After that, we're going to make sure you really understand your money. There's so many business owners that do not know what their profit margins are in their business. They do not know if they're even accurately charging the right price for what they do. Right. Because they haven't taken into account what it's going to take to deliver the final product. And I'm not just talking about the product. I'm talking about also the marketing that's going to go into that product, right? The advertisement that it's going to take to build out the product. Like all of the pieces, that's going to go into what you need to price the product for. Too many times, like business owners, they looking at what everybody else doing. Right. So they're like, well, such and such said it's this price. I'm going to just make mine this price, right? Wrong. That's like the absolute wrong step. Like business Starting a business, growing a business, it's mathematics.
Period.
It's math. That's all it is. It's math.
Yes.
You got to know the numbers, though, because you will be doing a whole lot of work, putting a whole lot of energy in. You may be making sales, but you will still be broke. Yeah. Right? Like, you will still be broke.
Yeah.
Listen.
Right?
Hold on. Listen.
That's a fact.
Linda, listen. Linda, listen.
Hey,
if you at this,
like the way you do business.
Listen to this.
See,
if you
drink your drink.
If you have been watching the 1% Better Everyday podcast or listening, I can honestly say this is no. They're gonna like and subscribe, but I gotta cross my legs a little bit. Listen. This right? That you big. But listen, hold on. Listen. This is as quiet as Shondo has ever been. Ever. Now, if you watch this show, then you know this is no cap. I'm not lying.
It is.
But listen, like the most important piece of that, and it's funny to say, and it's funny to say it out loud. Everything she was saying commands you to shut up and listen because you agree with everything.
Listen.
Everything, like nothing you said is a lie. Everything I'm hearing is like, oh my God.
Everything.
Everybody's gonna hire you immediately because one, you speaking facts. Like what's funny is that same conversation that I'm talking about where we was, talking a little bit of business, but we didn't want to talk too much.
Right.
I was telling her just about pricing because that's one of the last things you said because you said so much stuff earlier that. I'm gonna have to go pick that up from over here, but let's just start with that one. I'm still considering my pricing, and I told her what I was doing. Shondo was like, "You're not charging enough."
I got on your ass.
And then
I got on your ass.
I told her everything what I've got, what I'm gonna.
And what she say?
For the customer, she said, "You only charging that? I get all that for how much?
All that."
So I'm like, oh, so
charging way too little,
thinking way too small.
Yep.
One, which I was never married to.
I appreciate you for having this organic moment.
I was never married to that price.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm always listening and willing to adjust and hearing what the market say. Because if the market say that's not what it is, and the market can be one, what your customers say,
right?
But two, what you're saying is what does your business say?
Yep.
If I'm going to have to spend X amount of dollars to get said person in front of said video for them to purchase that, well, guess what? I have to put that into consideration of my product. If I have to ship it here, that has to be in consideration. Like it's not just what you made, the physical material to make that product, the raw materials you bought to make that product. It's about everything else, which.
I want to tell this. Can I tell the story?
Man, tell the story.
Okay, then I just want to keep it all the way organic. We've been talking about you since we met you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, but because so he was talking about his product. He told you about his product when he first met you.
Yep.
And I'd already talked to him about pricing and what I felt pricing would do to it if it was at a certain amount. So when you asked him and he said the price, I didn't say anything to you, but I called him on the phone like a day later.
We always talking business. Yes.
I said, listen, when you told Simone that price, you sounded like you priced it there because you weren't sure that if you said the higher price, it wouldn't be like a put off.
Yep.
I said, is that? He was like, my nigga, you right. And like, I love the fact that we can have, because we always do that shit.
Yeah.
So it was like, I told you, like that candle, if it's higher, it'll be valued at something. It won't just be what it is. It'll be like the same reason people will spend $200 for Jordans or whatever. It's like, it's that because nigga, it just is. I don't tell a motherfucker that an iPhone ain't no better. We don't care.
Yep.
We're still gonna pay $1,400, $1,300, $1,200 for whatever the fuck. We don't care.
Exact example.
So
exactly.
When we were sitting up there on the balcony and he said that to you, I didn't say a word, but I peeped it. And I'm like, I'm going to tell this nigga about this later. And so the next day I called him. I'm riding. I said, nigga, you don't sound sure. And if you don't sound sure, why would they fuck with you?
Exactly. Let me
so
tell you,
that was just, we talked about you right after that.
For any price
that
you decide you want to sell it for, as long as you believe it's worth that, and you position yourself in the marketplace to command that type of value. I don't care what the product is. I don't care what the service is, right? If you show up and you command the space and you are building out a brand that speaks the language of the people that you know gonna spend the money that that you want to charge for your. Put any price on it.
Any price on it. Man,
That was just. When
I
we started talking about that,
was.
I just had to go into that because the crazy part about it is this moment was with you.
Yeah.
And we got you here today. Y'all were talking about it because I told them from the very beginning, I'm like, my nigga, it needs to be like more of a premium price. Because that's the way.
Got a premium price, like the way you
exactly.
laid it out to me.
Exactly. It ain't like no Blade shit.
It's a luxury premium product, which means it needs to have a luxury premium price point.
Period.
That was just that's good. That was organic.
I always tell the entrepreneurs that I work with, right? The same energy that is gonna take you to make $10,000 is the same energy it's gonna take you to make $100,000. It's the same energy that's gonna take you to make $10 million. You just gotta decide where you want to fall in the spectrum. Because it's the same. It's the same.
You know what's dope?
Energy,
I learned that probably this past year in my own business. Because 9 to 5, I do commercial insurance. So I'm dealing with business owners and commercial insurance. And I'm starting to use that same language. I say starting to because now it's in my psyche now. The same amount of energy it takes for me to get a deal. Let's say somebody's spending $100,000 on their insurance. That same amount of energy that I took to close that deal takes the same amount of energy for somebody spending $10 million on their insurance. So why not just apply that and go for that clientele. Period. And that goes for the same thing. But also something else that I picked up on something that I told Chris during the episode was about being able to position yourself for the exit if you want to sell. And I'm curious to what you're doing now and if you saw that when you sold your second business, which was the daycare, because I heard a quote from somebody, or it wasn't a quote. I was watching listening to a conversation, and it was like, you know what? I had a business once, and I was the one doing everything. That it wasn't marketable for somebody, for an investment group, for a private equity firm to come in, because if I don't work here, I can't sell it.
Right.
So when they put a system in place, when they hired a CFO to run it and all this other stuff, lo and behold, now that's of value. Now I can sell this, and that's what I'm hearing when you start talking about the business owners that you are helping and that you put in place. You're trying to put systems in place so that they're not the key piece of that
100%.
business. You can pull them out and sell it for 5 times, 6 times. It's worth the EBITDA that, you know what I mean?
I just had this conversation with my mentees. So I have a mentorship group of new entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs that I work with on a very regular basis. And, in the world we live in and in this social media era, right, everybody wants the popularity, right? They want the followers. We want the influencers. We want to have these big personal brands. And I get it, right? But that's not always the most profitable route, right? Because if you are the only driving force behind the business, there are so many limitations to that, right? There's so many limits on who you can attract with that personal brand, how you gonna exit that personal brand, and how you gonna bring other people into the business where everybody that's coming in it does not feel like they gotta work with you to get the result, right? So it was important to me as I started to build this consultant agency, right, that it wasn't just, this is Simone, come work with Simone because Simone can get results, right? I very strategically said, I'm gonna found the Emerson Group Creative Consultant Agency, and I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna acquire some dope consultants as well, right? I'll be the head of the organization, I'll be the visionary for the organization, but I'm not the only person that can help your business move forward, right? That was important to me because the goal should be for any entrepreneur is leverage, right? The goal is not to be in the business all day, every day, doing all the things. It's to build out the business, put the systems in place, hire the right people, and then leverage them so that way you can go off and either chase down new dollars or go live the life on the yacht, however you want, however you desire to live it, right? That's the real goal. Now, today, right, this business that I'm building is generational. It's legacy for me, right? So This one I don't intend on selling, right? This one I plan to pass down to my children, and I plan to build something that can be a part of our family for years to come. But I think it's extremely important that a business owner knows what the end game is
Right.
in
Yes.
the beginning.
Yes.
You
Yes.
need to
Yes.
know that when you start,
Yes.
because that's gonna have a big impact, and it's gonna dictate how you moving, how you move through the business.
What's dope about that is that in earlier episodes I talked about the way I was. My mom was a motivational speaker.
Okay.
So everything that I've ever done in life was based on like some type of system. So when I was a baby, not a baby, but old enough to really know what was what, she made an octopus diagram.
Okay.
And on the octopus diagram, it basically has the 8 legs, but on those different ones, she was like, what are 8 different ways that you're gonna make money? So that's all. The octopus it's always been a thing.
Yep.
Grown up, my mama called me now. What we looking
What we
like?
got?
What's the octopus?
I love it.
So it's always and the dope part about that is that when we talk about like the game period, it's you got pawns. I don't mind parting ways with this business and getting $15-20 million from it to put an influx of capital into this one right here.
Exactly.
Because I really didn't. I created it just because it was cool. But if these motherfuckers want to pay this for it, I don't really give a fuck about it like that.
Yeah.
So it's it's just the mindset of having the multiple things going on that you can shift, know the end game to each one of them. Like, if such and such comes along and wants to buy it and just do licensing rights for it, I'm cool with that because I don't give a fuck about looking at this shit every day anyway. Yeah. So it's just like, I love hearing that because again, you're totally different. We haven't had any conversation with you.
No.
But the shit is all the fucking same. You know what I'm saying? The thought process.
Once you got it, like, it doesn't change. And you know, it doesn't matter what the business model is. It doesn't matter if it's a product-based business. It doesn't matter if it's a service-based business. I don't care what you selling.
Whatever in there.
It is all the same. And that's why, again, really embracing the journey, right? Like, if you take every single, lesson, every single high, every single low in your entrepreneurial journey, and you use it as you kind of progress through this, like, you're going to be a beast. Like, for me, I don't have any limits.
Right.
There's no limitation.
Right.
Anything that I desire to go out here and create, do, build, make, sell, earn.
Come on.
Boss talk.
Come on.
Boss talk. Global. She ain't talking local.
That's why.
Not talking local.
That's why I like talking to this motherfucker.
Right?
Like, because that's what I be like. People don't like being around me because I'm never. The convo's never here.
No.
We are here. We not talking this is big boy, big girl shit. If you're not trying to play that type of game, just get from around me because you're going to be pissed off with me. You're going to be mad at me because the way you talk, everything you say, like the way you are. If you just got a mom and pop and you cool with that, that's fine. But don't ever complain. Because if I hear you complain, I'm like, well then why don't you want to play big boy ball then? Why don't you want to play a larger game? If you're saying that this place is cash poor and you don't got no real cash flow through this motherfucker, why your granny the one cooking? Fucking granny got the count. Her ankles the size of both this nigga shit put together. Granny can't cook forever. Why you motherfuckers why won't you put a system in place so that you can play big boy ball and say, you know what? South Park is the same as Third Ward. Third Ward the same as Fifth Ward. That's the same as Acres Home. Why you ain't got 5 restaurants now? Because you playing little boy, little girl ball.
Man, let me ask you this question. So you work with a lot of different businesses, a lot of different visionaries, I would say, entrepreneurs. And I know there has to be 1 or 2 that you can think of or just common traits. Not obviously giving away names, but what are some of the things that you see that you know they're making a mistake? They're hung up on something, but you're like, man, if they just stop doing this, if they just listen to me in this one area, things would take off. Like, what's that one that you see? Hold
on, do they got to pay?
Come on,
you motherfuckers better go pay
y'all.
You got the cash. Hey, you got the cash app, whatever going on the way you can see the rest of this video.
You might.
That's a goddamn good question, boy.
That is a really, really great question because, some of the best entrepreneurs that I have the pleasure of working with, right? They get in their own way, right? Because, and this is no shade to anybody, right?
Thinking of some shit.
When you bring a consultant onto your team, right? I'm looking high level. I'm
Right.
not in the day-to-day of your business, right? I'm not in the get up, go out to the job site, or send out the quote, or send out the bid, right? I'm high level. So I'm looking at what it's going to take for you to do today to get to your next level. Most entrepreneurs, especially if they're first-time entrepreneurs, or if they're just accustomed to having to kind of like do all the things, right? They have a hard time like relinquishing some of the control, right? Saying, I'm going to be okay if you implement this.
Right.
Even though if I don't really see how it's going to benefit me just yet,
Right.
I'm going to just go ahead and let you do it, and we going to see where the chips lay. Now, most of my business owners, right, and this has happened so many times, they give me a bunch of resistance in the beginning.
Right.
They like, ooh, Simone, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good idea. I'm going to just stick to this right here that I've been doing.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm thinking,
In their comfort
but you
zone.
called me because
Right.
you've been doing that and that didn't
didn't
work.
work.
It wasn't working,
Yeah.
right? So why don't we try something new? And my goal is to help you make the vision that you have for your business. I'm going to just help you execute on that.
Right.
I'm not coming in to take over your company. I'm not coming in here to strong arm you. You tell me what your vision is, where you trying to go. I'm going to help you get there. That's
Yep.
my
I'm
job,
execute.
right?
Yep.
So I'm going to execute. I'm the executor, right? So if you say, well, I don't really know, then we're going to keep doing it your way.
Right.
But you're going to look up 2-3 months from now, and it has happened time
Yeah.
and time again.
Yeah.
We get 3 months down the road, and they like, well,
Yeah, let's try it your way.
you know what? We might need to go ahead and put that system in place you
Yeah.
was talking about. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, now we getting somewhere, right? And so I think for the person that's really, really ready to take their business to the next level, be open-minded, right? Be willing to embrace the change. I do understand that change is uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
Most
Yep,
people
yep.
get really, really, really like uncomfortable when you start talking about moving differently and doing differently and making a bigger investment and going in heavier. But if you really want to get to where you gotta go, you gotta be willing to do something you ain't never done before.
And
That's super hard. I can see how it's so hard for business owners.
And I was just finna speak to that. Like, being someone who's like, whether it's businesses, whether it was like inventions that I'm now getting people to produce, like whatever it's been, like one of the biggest things for entrepreneurs is being able to trust whoever is doing it.
Yep.
Because you got a lot of people like masquerading as consultants and all that type of stuff. And you look up, and I know because I had to sue one of the girls, motherfucking money. But it was one of those things where we got maybe a month or two down the way, and it's like, you don't really know my business. Like you're not like, you know what I'm saying? Like she wasn't really educating herself on the field. When I was talking to her, everything was still surface how it was when I met her. So it was like, you're not really, because to do what you do, you have to have you have to do your own homework.
Constantly, every client I gotta go deeper.
You see what I'm saying?
Project.
Because and that's why some of those people are that wall is still slightly up.
Yeah.
Because it's like the last girl or the last
No,
company
true.
did. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely speak to the ones that may give you a little resistance, but at the same time, because the way both my parents were entrepreneurs, but the way my mom implemented systems, I know them motherfuckers work.
And the great part is that I'm super transparent, right?
Yeah.
So with every client that I work with, right, in our very first meeting, right, it's like our onboarding session. We gonna outline the objectives. I'm gonna tell you specifically what I'm here to do, right? This is what we're going to achieve, and this is the timeline in which we're gonna achieve it. So that way there is no gray area, right? I feel like that whole lack of trust, kind of like getting involved with people that's talking the talk but not really walking the walk thing, right? That happens because the expectation isn't outlined in the beginning, right? So if I can say to you, in this 6-month contract we'll be working together on, these are the 6 or 7 objectives that we'll be able to tackle, and you say then hey, at the end of it, you should be satisfied, right? But I've also understood the power of doing good business, right?
Yeah.
Because my business today it's almost like 90% referable. Right? Everybody just out telling people.
Yeah.
Like,
Word
man,
of mouth.
I'm working with
way.
them, and this the kind of result they getting me. Like, if you need your business going to the next level, these the people you need to call. I tell people all the time, it's like compounding interest at the bank. Right. I done already made the deposit.
Yeah, that's just gonna be sitting there.
Not an interest, just compounding. The referrals just coming through the door.
I'm not trying to social currency. That's what we say. We talk about social currency on here all the time. Social currency is more powerful than real. You gotta understand, like
100%.
You got to understand, like somebody saying that she does a great job, or it just somebody saying that is way more important than somebody seeing an ad about it.
Yep.
Seeing a video about it. Like the fact that you do business a certain way and people are willing to say, like, we knew you were a certain way when we met you. Like, man, I call everybody a motherfucker. I'm like, we gotta talk this motherfucker. He was like, man, we gotta get on the show. Like, we gotta talk to this motherfucker like that. Because it's like you can just feel it. You can feel when somebody's just speaking. It's like it's no finesse. Like people that trying to, like, you sound like a used car salesman. People that are really business people, they looking at you like, you never gonna do that. You full of shit anyway. And the people that can mask it, you can only mask it so long. Like the girl, she did great in the onboard meeting. We were on a virtual. I'm like, I like this. But as time progressed, it was like, you're not following whatever system you're not getting better at this, and you're supposed to be educating yourself. I know it. I created the shit. But how are you gonna take what it is and apply it to how you understand how the industry works? And so it's interesting when you say that about the referral deal, because that's what we talk about social currency all the time, and like how powerful this shit is.
Actually, having that timeline too, just having some actionable items that the business owner can learn from, and so on and so forth to follow.
Not just I'm gonna blow your shit up.
Okay. Well, whatever.
Itemize. So you itemize it for them. I love it.
The whole project is mapped out in the beginning. You know, every deliverable that they can expect to receive. And then,
you put timelines on there.
We got timelines on everything.
See, I like that shit.
Everything is time driven.
I like that shit.
No open-ended.
I like that shit.
We gonna get to it. No.
I like this shit.
And whether it's me or whether it's one of my senior consultants, like, we're invested in the project. So, again, it's, okay, I want to do this. We're going to go educate ourselves. We're going to go master whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. Then when we present you with the deliverable, it's nothing but go time at that point, right? It's nothing but execution. And so, I found a process that works. I'm thankful that I get to use, like, the insight, the knowledge, the drive, right? And it keeps me sharp, because the one thing that I enjoy the most about entrepreneurship is the fact that it's not the same every day, right? When I was in my earlier businesses, right, they were cool. I was making money, right? The money was coming and going. But then I reached a point where it plateaued out, right? Every day felt the same. I was going there.
You may well be working a regular job at that
I already be working a job, right? So I started to feel kind of like constricted in this little box. So being able to be the head of the consultant agency, it allows me to have different industries, different business models, different types of people, entrepreneurs that I'm working with. So it keep me sharp.
Very sharp.
I don't want to stay. You finna say, because I don't want to step on it.
I'm going to say something, because I got two things I'm going to say.
Okay, when she just said that, it reminded me of, okay, so currently right now, I'm going through like a big jump.
Okay.
And where it was here, now the shit is getting bigger. My guy told me a while ago, he was like, Shondo, you've always been the athlete. You've always been the one to make it happen. He said, this is what, we're going to look at the game a little different now. We're going to play the game from the skybox now. And I was like, man, really believing that. That was a big, because when you're the doer, like you've been the doer before. When you're the doer, you like, I'm the doer, nigga. I know how this shit. But he said, we're going to play the game from the skybox. And now that it's starting to turn into that, and my mind is going towards that, that shit feels so amazing. Like this past, when did I take? Maybe a week and a half?
Maybe 4 days.
This shit has been fucking amazing, because the way I'm thinking of it is not from the athlete's perspective. I'm not thinking of it from the person doing it. I'm thinking it from the person that's watching it be done.
Yeah.
And that shit is a whole. That shit. I'll do push-ups right now if I didn't get out of frame. That shit is exciting because I know you went through it to where when you're the motherfucker who's now picking the people that's taking care of X, Y, and Z.
Oh yeah.
And
Different.
it's a whole different game.
Totally
It's a whole different game, and it requires flexibility on your part.
Yeah.
And it requires a level of trust on your part, but also it requires a level of you just being like, that's how it's gotta be. If you're gonna play big, it's gotta be that way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. When you said that, it got me excited because I thought about like what I'm currently going through and how my guy.
No, I always say that the human brain is like a balloon, right?
Yeah.
When you first get the balloon out the pack, it's real tight.
Right.
That latex is tight.
Right.
But you blow some air in that balloon and it start expanding.
Yeah.
Once you let that air out, it's not the same shape no more.
No.
You can't never go back
No.
to what you used to be. So once you're exposed to more, once you thinking differently, once you operating at a different level, like, I don't know how anybody could ever go back. You gotta figure it out.
Yeah. I couldn't. I couldn't because it just
You can't
couldn't
go backwards. You can't go backwards.
Not in this. Not when you get to this level because it's just like when he was talking to me, he was like he just started itemizing you. When you're you.
Yeah.
So you're not thinking about all the stuff you've necessarily done. This motherfucker had this shit on the computer. Like he's a Goldman Sachs guy.
Okay.
So he had the shit on the this is going to this and the acting went to the invention. He just went. He said, "This is you."
Yeah.
He said, "So you got to think about the game." He said, "All you're doing is making a deal.
That's it.
That's it. You just making the deal."
Yeah.
And it's like that switch of thinking is just like I walk different now. You probably really can't tell me shit before 7 p.m. I be like, nigga, what did you say? Like, I make very big decisions. Like,
it's different.
that shit different.
Different.
That shit different. It's almost, it's more challenging, but to me, it's more liberating.
It is.
Because it's no longer like well, how would I make them like this? It's people doing that and figuring out how to make a motherfucker like that. It's just, I don't know. When you said that, I got excited.
Man, I got
excited.
I did pick up on that. But one of the things that I picked up on, as you said earlier, that I keep replaying in my head, which goes to a quote or a saying that I heard from Gary Vee. Listen to one of his things, which I'm sure you probably are familiar with. But he does a lot of content. He knows how to drive people to see whatever it is you are trying to sell.
Right.
Yep.
But the thing that he always say is, bro, if what you have is shit, and I drive it, I'm just going to accelerate the shit. Like it's going to destroy itself faster.
Right.
And the same with you. It's like, hey, once we dial it in and I start driving people to your site, to your whatever, like if you don't have the back office and the systems in place, you're going to lose.
And I'm not going to do it. Right. I did.
Oh, if you said if you already know that they can't handle the traffic.
They can't handle the traffic. Just like we talked about in the other episode, because we talked about Rich not putting his cigars in certain places, or you not putting your jabber in a certain location because it's not ready yet.
It's not ready.
No.
I
have
would
a system.
never.
It's a fact.
First of all, that puts my reputation on the line.
Yeah.
It puts the business owner's reputation on the line. I would not, and I would walk away from an entrepreneur or a contract where they were that adamant about going ahead and moving forward with the marketing, the lead generation, pushing the stuff through the pipeline if they could not handle it. Because it will result in a disaster. It's going to be a headache you don't even want to even remotely try to deal with. And it's not one of those kind of things that you can say, well, I'm going to do this now and I'll worry about that later. It's not one of them kind of things.
Can't go back.
You gonna ruin the business before you even get an opportunity to get to the 7-8 figure mark. Like you gonna blow it up in smoke. So you know
the logistics gonna fuck it up. Just alone.
You done put a big ass engine in the fucking car that can't handle it.
Right.
You done sold up a bunch of product and you don't even have the capital to be able to afford the front end. So now you got angry customers emailing you all day saying, "Where my product at? Why I ain't got no shipping updates? Why? What's going on? They bashing you online. They leaving horrible Google reviews. They talking.
Yep, exactly.
We don't want them kind of headaches.
Let me ask you this question. So a business owner come to you, I know it's kind of hard to say this, but is there?
Don't be trying to get no free consultation here, nigga.
I ain't trying to get that. No, what I'm saying is, for what you do and the kind of heat and the kind of results that your team has seen, do you know that's a 12-month play for most businesses? Is that a 6-month play? Like for you, what is are you a long-term person?
I'm straight long-term, right?
Okay.
So every contract in the consulting agency has a minimum 6-month requirement.
Okay.
Every client that I currently have inside the agency, we 12 months in, right? But the real goal is, they stay with me as long as it takes to continue to push forward, because every level there's a new set of challenges. It requires a new set of thinking. It requires a new level of operating. It requires another set of challenges. And I've built, and this is the other beauty, right? I'm not out trying to. It's not about volume for me, right? It's about value for me, because I'm retaining my clients and they staying with me. So you're a
quality over quantity type.
It's quality over quantity, right? We premier, we boutique.
Yes.
Like I don't need everybody wearing and rocking the Emerson Group brand.
Right.
I need this selective entrepreneur that's really ready to make sure that their business is operating at optimal level, that we can grow to the $10 million, $100 million mark. That's the people I rock with. Right? And they not going nowhere. But it's minimum 6 months to get in the door. My starting contract starts at $15,000. That's just to start it. That's just to start it. Just to start it. And then it goes up from there.
So as they move up, is it percentage based? What is it?
No.
How does it go?
I'm not taking any percentages off.
Well, no, I just meant like if this is so if it's 15 and they're already doing $100,000 or $200,000 in revenue, like how do you base that?
We typically put the packages together based upon whatever the deliverables are in that particular contract term, right? So every contract is 6 months, which means we do 2 reviews a year, right? We get through the 6-month mark. We see what we achieved. We see where the revenue is at in the business. We see what else we can achieve within the year, whatever those next set of deliverables are. So if they say, hey, I want to roll out a nationwide ad campaign that's going to include TV spots, right? Digital marketing, some print stuff, so direct mail, right? Whatever the objectives are, then they're presented with what the cost of those next 6 months will look like.
So basically, as they progress and stuff like that, the pricing is.
I want to make it a win-win, right? I believe in the win-win. It doesn't benefit me any to give the business owner a $50,000, contract or $50,000 invoice, and the business can't sustain that because it's not moving at the direction or at the speed in which it's going to allow them to get there. Like I'm in the trenches with you, right? Because my success is attached to your success, right? I can only be as successful as you gonna become.
Where you at?
Right?
Where you at with me?
I'm in the trenches.
She in the trenches. She in the trenches. You're not trying to just keep the hit. She in the trenches. Man, listen. When you got a business, like, cause that's where you gotta go. Like you gotta go. You gotta have people in the trenches with you. Yeah. Like to really
skin in the game. Have a little bit of skin in the game.
That's what we always talk about. So with my intellectual properties attorneys that I have my patents with. Okay. So when I first went to them with my first invention or whatever like that, I was like, I've been taught to over-deliver in life. Instead of just going with the idea just drawn on paper, I went in that bitch with a working prototype, a video of the shit, entry-level strategy on the shit. I called beforehand. How many people gonna be in there? They're like 4. Had 4 presentations. Okay. They looked at this shit like, nigga, you didn't need it. So they going through it or whatever. Like, I get halfway through it, show the video on the little projector screen. Yeah. They look at each other and look at me. They're like, Shondo, we'd like to be involved in this on the contingency level basis. Yeah. I'm like, okay. At the time, I don't know everything about it. I'm under the table with the shout out the iPhone. Shout out the iPhone. I'm under that motherfucker like, what are traditional rates for contingency level? So what percentage do we tell you? 7%. I'm like, what are the usual percentages? I'm going. This thumb going. So it was funny because where we ended up deciding on. It's 4% of commercial sales, but they handled all the patents. Right? But in exchange, they handle, if anybody were to infringe on the patents, they going hard at them because everybody's money's tied up.
Got the bulldog.
So the skin in the game, like I love when somebody that's doing something for me has some type of skin in the game, because it's like it's a whole different thing. I had a dude, I think he was in Jersey and was using one of my trademarks. You know, normally the way we do business, hey motherfucker, that's my. I said no. I hit my guy Dale. Dale, I think we have a problem. They're in New Jersey. They're using this. Send it over to me, Shondo. Sent it over to him that morning. It's been a cease and desist sent to him. Check it now. I check on it. His shit, the page don't even exist no more. I'm like, now this is the bulldog shit.
Yes.
Because but he's got skin in the game. And because you got skin in the game, you operate at a different level for these entrepreneurs. And I think that shit is big, like, because if they just think like, oh, she just taking the bread and like, hey, just do this, and just walking away, then it's like people feeling like you got that skin in the game. $50 ain't $50,000. That ain't shit.
No.
For somebody who in the trenches with me.
And you got a plan to execute with dates and timelines to hold you accountable.
The fact that you came to see Chris to talk about him with business in person. That right there, that's a whole nother thing.
At 8:30.
Exactly. That's a whole nother thing.
Which I'm not sure is usual or unusual, but you got the business done. Depending on your entrepreneur you're working with.
Sensitive,
so it had to get done.
We had to do.
That's being in the trenches.
But as you've heard, probably this is going to be your third time hearing this for all our loyal listeners. Wells and Sons Roofing had their best year.
2020.
It's not ironic that same year at the beginning, he called Simone and said, hey, I need you to work on this. We need this in place. Lo and behold, after 38 years of business, they had their best year of business, which happened to be the same year she came in at the beginning of the year to throw some heat on that business.
Come on.
So the proof is in the pudding.
And this is what he told us before we even knew about you. He was like, man, he said, this has been my best year, man. Like, so we go back to what we talked about. Listen, the pandemic, it may have affected some people, but you got to understand, for certain people, it was the year and the time of awakening. Like, I was doing that shit like this before. And I'm one of them people. I was doing this shit like this before. Now, nigga, we doing it like this. He said this has been his best year ever in 2020. And he also said that because he brought you on board and you put those systems in place, now there was no more writing out invoices, tearing them bitches out with the carbon copy shit on the other side of the receipt paper. He said he put you in place. And after that, the best year this man has seen. How many years of business?
38. It was about 38
That's older than we are.
It is.
Bro, that's hey, shout out to you.
Listen, lying right
Shout out to you for that, man.
I mean, listen, I know we had, man, this is a great conversation. Nick on for
you know we got that I want to hear you about your I want to hear about your book.
The book.
Let's get to the book real quick.
So book is titled Refusing to Quit, man. As you've heard through the story, like, the one thing that I know about me, without a shadow of a doubt, I'm resilient, right? I'm gonna come back from anything. There's nothing that I can't do. And so the book essentially is 10 principles that anybody can apply to their life to help them overcome some of the biggest challenges that they think have been designed to take them out. When in reality, all it is designed to get you to where you're trying to be. And so it's my life story. It's my
book. Make sure that book is in the camera.
Right here. Look. Y'all go check it out.
Where can
Amazon,
they find that?
Walmart, Barnes and Noble, Target, everywhere books are sold. You can get your hands on this. Look, distribution is right.
Come on.
Distribution
Come on.
is right.
Infrastructure is in place.
You can get it anywhere. So Simone Adrianne, Refusing to Quit, 10 principles, key principles for overcoming life challenges. It's going to change your mindset, right? Before you can even conceptualize what it takes to make $1 million, $10 million, $100 million, right? Your mindset has to be right. So we start there.
Dope. And where can they follow you? Where can they find you? Where can they... all that information.
I hang out primarily on Instagram. You guys can find me at Simone Adrianne. That's SIMONE. Adrianne, ADrianne. Let's connect. Follow me there. Facebook, same thing. YouTube. Look, I'm gonna shout out to y'all. I'm gonna stay connected to you.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
I'm land. We gonna land the plane.
Let's not land it right. Let's hover real quick. Let's circle the runway. And the reason I say that
we at LaGuardia now. Come on,
we hovering. But before we land it, I want to welcome everybody to Mel's Corner.
Y'all forgot.
Once again, we are at Mel's Corner. Today's segment, we would like to highlight Ty Cow dog training facility.
Best in the game,
the
you
best
did.
in the game. If you have a dog that you need trained, if you're looking for just obedience, if you're looking for simple education, if you're looking for protection, man, our boy Manuel and his team over at Ty Cow are phenomenal. Yeah. My dog has gone there and went through some of their training. Obviously, I think Shondo's there once a week with Rush. Yeah. Man, they're phenomenal. They're the best in the game. Just go check them out on their IG, anywhere they can be found. We're going to plug all of the social media handles as well as website. But phenomenal individuals. They know exactly what they're doing. My dog is phenomenal when it comes to obedience. And he's a dog. If you follow anything that Shondo does, you see Rush in there getting on people. He's always mostly at Ty Cow there. So, man, you guys head over there, check out some of the videos. If you want to get your dog trained, let them know 1% Better Everyday podcast sent you, myself and Shondo. But yes, that is another edition of Mel's Corner. Yeah. Please go check them out and let them know that we sent you there.
I like your little Mel's Corner.
You like it?
I don't even feel like you trying to be Flash. Like when
really not.
Because you know he tried to, Eddie, couldn't nobody say like Eddie Kane Jr.
Nobody saying
you know that. Flash did his thing, but it wasn't like when Eddie, I ain't going to do it to the people. Anyway, this is the 1% Better Everyday podcast. I love this episode right here was on another level. It was. You brought a whole nother energy and a whole nother type of combo that, I think it balanced this whole thing out. But as we always say, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us and we appreciate that. Our guest, Simone Emerson, with the Emerson Consulting Agency. Did I get it right?
You got it right.
I played quarterback in college. I remember them plays. I remember them plays. It's your boy Shondo Blaze along with my man
Melvin Johnson, Process the Mail.
And we gone. That's it.
Absolutely. We appreciate it.